Hello friend, it's BorasLegend here, and today's time for my FIFA 20 defending tutorial. And the manual defending is back in FIFA 20. You can't just sit back and rely on the AI. This might feel a bit difficult in the beginning, of course, but this also opens up huge opportunities. With great defending you can really outplay your opponent, and today I will simply just show you how to defend in FIFA 20. Before getting into some key techniques to defend, we must understand the ground rules of defending. The most important thing in the defense is to control the right player. The main priority is to always make sure that your opponent can't score from cheap through balls, simply by switching to a defender if you see a dangerous run. And always try to have 1-2 meters of advantage in front of the striker. But very often the midfielders are the best players to control. They can cut off huge areas. You can control your midfielders if you notice that there aren't any threatening runs from the opponent's attacking players. Always try to protect your defenders with your midfield. They are the shield of your whole defense. Try to always have an eye on the opponent's strikers and work to close down the dangerous lanes. But what creates a great defender is the pressure play and seeing the opportunity to strike. Being passive and just cutting off passing lanes will give the opponent the chance to dictate the gameplay. What characterizes a great defender is the aggressiveness. After you've cut down the passing lane, you must wait for the right opportunity to step forward and steal the ball from your opponent. The key with the pressing is to always do it from a dangerous passing lane as a starting point. Before getting into any features, we're gonna talk about the settings that are just as important, the setting and the tactics, and I'm gonna start here with some formations and instructions. Just a tip here to use 2 CDMs. It is extremely useful. You can use here both stay back and cut passing lanes, which does a huge difference to help protect your defenders, simply to be the shield in front of the defenders. And also, if you feel that you suffer still, you can also use the new instruction here for one of the CDNs, which is drop between the defenders, which just simply creates a 5 at the back environment, which will help you a lot if you feel that it is difficult to defend with the 2 center backs. Also, I strongly recommend you to use stay back for your fullbacks, as it will help a lot against the counter attacks, because counters are dangerous. In FIFA 20 the attackers feels that they are faster this year, and you need more defenders at the back to simply help out. But also with the custom tactics, don't stand too high up with your defensive line, be around 4-5 here. You can use both balanced and drop back to simply help to defend these dangerous through balls. And if you still have problem defending the through balls, you can go to your controller settings and go to auto switching move assistance and pick low here, which will help you a bit to cover these through balls. But if you feel that you have no problems with this, then I recommend you to use none, as you will have a bit more structure in your defense. Alright, the time for the actual techniques, and we have 4 main buttons here in the defense of FIFA 20. Which is of course L2 or LT on Xbox, which is the jockey button. And then we have the combination of L2 and R2, which is fast jockey, which is extremely useful. In FIFA 20 we have also 2 types of switching, which is a must: L1 switching or LB on Xbox to switch to the closest player, and of course the right stick switching for a more tactical switch. And R1 is not so important anymore in FIFA 20. It is heavily nerfed, the secondary man press, so you don't have to worry too much about that, even though it is still a nice complement. And also the contain button, the X. I definitely recommend you to try to learn defend without this button, as you can reach much higher levels if you just defend manually. So try to stay away from the contain button as much as possible. Defending in FIFA 20 is all about that L2 button. The jockey button, which gives you much more control of the defender. You can use this in combination with the R2 to simply approach the attacker with speed. Then as soon as you get close, you slow down, releasing R2 and just holding down L2 to get nice control here of the defender. And you can also of course combine that with a standing tackle the best is to use just around 2 bars. And well, this is a great technique to get the ball back fast. But also we have another technique, which is holding down L2 and R2 at the same time. And just look at this, just look how fast he can move without having the feeling that he's moving on ice. He can switch direction extremely fast, and this is perfect for sweeping on the midfield, cutting down passing lanes, but also can be used with great success in these 1 versus 1 situations. So L2, R2, and then as soon as we get close, we just release R2. So you can use both these techniques. They are both very good. You can also, of course, use them in combination on the pitch. So we have the gas and brake technique, R2, L2, and then we have the sweeper technique, which is holding down both at the same time, and which gives you incredible speed and control of your movement. Right, let's check how that looks in the game here, how we're defending 1 versus 1. We see here that we are pressing down L2 in this case, just controlling our defender with great accuracy, moving back and forth with the left stick, and he has no other option than just go for the cross. So we don't have to contain nothing, just holding L2 here, being very smooth with the left stick. And here we have to release L2 because we see that there's a space that has been created, and if we have this space we have to release L2 and get some speed. As you can see here, we are moving towards the opponent because this is a dangerous chance. We have to approach him. He can go for this finesse shot at the far post. And here we're gonna use 2 bars of power. Standing tackle to simply stop this try from Leo Messi. Once again, 1 versus 1. You see here we approach at this time with our center back. We're gonna switch to the center back, approach with speed. And as soon as we get close, gas and brake. This is the brake. We're just releasing R2 and pressing down L2, and we can just move smoothly and wait for his action. We don't have to stress, we don't have to rush, not push, not anything, just being very, very chill. Once again, approaching here, and as soon as we get close, we're starting to just being very, very cool. L2, he will think that we will just rush, he will maybe try a skill move, but in that time, we will just press down L2 and move a bit backwards. That is a great 1 versus 1 technique. And now we have the sweeper technique, L2, R2, the fast jockey, just holding down L2 and R2 at the same time. You can see here with Fernandinho how we are moving, and this is incredible. We can move so fast and be so accurate with this movement, and always trying to cover here the dangerous passing lanes of his strikers, moving in relation to his attackers, and just also of course being aggressive and attacking the ball holder when the opportunity arises. Once again using a similar technique here on the midfield, cutting off the passing lanes, but at the same time being aggressive when we get the chance to win the ball back. And now we'll see once again the L2 R2 technique and how amazing it is, how you can just terrorize your opponent here on the midfield and cut off so much space. Once again you see here L2 R2 will be pressed down now. You see how we're moving with Fabinho in small circles to just cut off as much space as possible. So we have the 1 versus 1 defending, the sweeping technique, but we also have the player switching. As I mentioned before, controlling the right player in the defense is one of the big keys. And we're using 2 techniques. First of all, we have the right stick switch to be tactical here and cut off these dangerous through balls, which here was very possible, but we switched fast here to, in this case, Party with the right stick to simply shut down this dangerous run from his striker. And here once again we're using the right stick to a more tactical switch. We're seeing that there is a space opening up here in the midfield. He can get this triangle combination to his striker, and we have to react fast. We're doing this right stick switch, tactical switch, and choosing here Arthur on the midfield and just cutting off this lane to his striker that we saw very early. So we have the right stick switching, more tactical, but also the L1 switching is just as important here. Pressing down L1 to select the closest player, and combining the right stick switching and the L1 switching is so important in the defense. And when you manage to do that, you'll really master the defense here. We're gonna use a very good right stick switch here to a center back, because you can see that our defense is completely unstructured, and we want to control here our center back to get some structure, to get some line, and also cover this big space in the middle. So just using here a right stick tactical switch to our center back. We have the vision here, and we're simply gonna try to organize the defense once again. But now it is looking good. We have to now apply pressure on the ball holder, and that is a fast close switch with L1. You can see we're just combining some L1 switches, and once again we're seeing, okay, now we have to try to control this area, and a smart right stick switch here to Kante, and he can just sweep this area in the middle, and that is an example of some perfect defense using both type of switching. But don't forget that the keeper is also part of the defense, and here we are in big trouble with our defender. We have Fernandes against Messi, and this is, well, Messi will win this most of the times, this dangerous run, and we are pressing triangle now at the same time to rush out with our keeper and be ready, because as I said, the keeper is also a huge part of the defense, and you also have to think about using him. And now in this case he will not go for the pass, but if he did so, we would be ready with our keeper. And here in this case we will see, okay, now he has some huge space, Neymar against Varane. We are not in a good position, but we have pressed our triangle button very early, just rushing out with the keeper and being ready. And you can also of course press down the right stick and move it in order to move the keeper on set pieces and so on. The keeper is a huge part of the defense, and try to really master his movements. Alright guys, that is it for today. Defending is not easy. There is a lot of things to learn, of course. It takes a long time to build a strong defense, but it is truly the art of FIFA, because everybody can press circle and score goals, but it is about stopping these attempts, as many as possible, that creates the winners in the game. So just practice, have patience, and master the manual defending in FIFA 20. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure to drop a like. There will be more on my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, until next time.